Hello students, welcome to Anne's classes. Let's do ratio and proportion, chapter 9, exercise 9b. The monthly salary of a person is 12,000 and his monthly expenditure is 8,500. Okay, so they're saying this is what he earns. 12,000 is what he earns. Out of that, he spends 8,500. We need to find the ratio of his salary to his expenditure. So let's start. The monthly salary is 12,000. Okay, this is given to us in the question. And the monthly expenditure is also given to us in the question. It is 8,500. Now, we have to find the ratio of the monthly salary to expenditure. So let's do that. Monthly salary is 12,000. His expenditure is 8,500. Now we are finding the ratio of these two. So let's start by writing these two numbers as a fraction. So 12,000 by 8,500. For a ratio, we don't write the units, so I've removed the rupee. Okay, now let's simplify by cancelling the two zeros first. And now I have 120 by 85. I can divide both by a common factor, and the common factor here is 5. So let's divide 120 by 5. 120 divided by 5. 5 twos are 10 minus 2 and I bring down 0, it's 20. 5 fours are 20. So minus, I get 24. So here my numerator is 24 and let's divide 85 by 5. 85 divided by 5 will be 5 ones are 5 minus 3, I bring down 5, it's 35. 5 sevens are 35. So my denominator will now be 17. So I have reduced my fraction to 24 by 17. Now when I write it as a ratio, it becomes 24 is to 17. So this is the ratio of salary to expenditure. 24 is to 17. Question 2. Now we have to find the ratio of expenditure to savings. So what is his monthly salary? His monthly salary as given in the question is 12,000 rupees. Then his expenditure is also given in the question. It is 8,500 rupees. Now we have to find his savings. And how do we find the savings? It is monthly salary minus the monthly expenditure. So that is 12,000 rupees is the monthly salary and 8,500 is the monthly expenditure, and we have to subtract these two. So let's subtract 12,000 minus 8,500. 0, 0. Now 5 we need to borrow. 10 minus 5 is 5. 11 minus 8 is 3. So 3,500 is his savings. Rupees 3,500 is the amount that he has saved. Now we need to find the ratio of expenditure to savings. So how much is his expenditure? It's 8,500 rupees, which is given in the question, and his savings is what we just found out, 3,500 rupees. Now the first step, we need to write this as a fraction, 8,500 by 3,500. Now let's cancel the zeros, 2 on top and 2 down, and now let's find the answer to this. We need to divide both by a common factor, and the common factor here is 5. So 5 into what is 85? 5 17s are 85 and 5 into 7 is 35. So we've got a fraction in the lowest term, 17 by 7. When I write it as a ratio, it becomes 17 is to 7. So I have found the answer to my question, that is find the ratio of expenditure to savings, and that is 17:7. Next one, we have to find the ratio of savings to salary. So the first step is the monthly salary again. So the salary is given to us in the question as 12,000 rupees. Then the monthly expenditure we know is 8,500 rupees. Then the savings, we found the savings. The savings we found it to be rupees 3,500. Now we need to find the ratio of savings to salary. So savings is 3,500 is to salary is 12,000. 12,000. Now let's start finding the ratio. So we write this as a fraction first, 3,500 and 12,000. Now to simplify, let's cancel 2 zeros and 2 zeros there. Now let's divide both by a common factor, that is 5. The common factor is 5. Now 5 sevens are 35 and 120 here. So 5 into 24 is 120. So our fraction is 7 by 24 and our ratio is 7:24. So our final answer, the ratio of savings to salary is 7:24. Question 2. The strength of a class is 65, including 30 girls. Find the ratio of the number of girls to boys. So first, strength of the class is 65. Number of girls is 30. Now, number of boys. We don't know the number of boys. We're going to find that strength of the class minus the number of girls. When you take the strength of the class and take away the number of girls from it, what is left is the number of boys. So strength of the class is 65 minus the number of girls is 30. Now 65 minus 30 is 35. So we found the number of boys to be 35. Now we need to find the ratio of the number of girls to the number of boys. So number of girls is 30 is to number of boys is 35. First step, write it as a fraction. Then reduce it to the lowest term. Now we'll reduce it by dividing both by common factor, which is 5. 5 sixes are 30 and 5 sevens are 35. So we've got a fraction 6 by 7. Our ratio is 6:7. So the ratio of number of girls to the number of boys is 6:7. Next, we have to find the ratio of boys to the whole class. Okay, so what is the strength of the class? Given to us is 65. Number of girls, we got it as 30. Number of boys also we found as 35. Now the ratio of the number of boys to the whole class. So boys is 35, whole class is 65. So this is our ratio. Let's find the simplified version of this. 35 by 65, we write it as a fraction. Now we divide both by a common factor. The common factor is 5. Now 5 into what is 35? 5 sevens are 35 and 5 13s are 65. 13 fives are 65. So our fraction is 7 by 13 and our ratio is 7:13. So this is our answer, 7:13 is our final answer. Question 3. This time we must find the ratio of the whole class to the number of girls. So the strength of the class is 65. The number of girls is 30. Now we have to find the ratio of the whole class to the number of girls. That is 65 is the whole class and 30 is the number of girls. So we need to find the ratio of 65 is to 30. Simplify that. So write it as a fraction, then divide it by a common factor, which is 5. Divide both by 5. 5 into 13. 13 5s are 65 and 5 6s are 30. So I've got 13 by 6 as my fraction and my ratio will be 13 is to 6. So I've got my ratio as 13 is to 6. Question 3. The weekly expenses of a boy have increased from 1,500 rupees to 2,250 rupees. We need to find the ratio of, first one, increase in expenses, this is the first part, to the original expenses. So let's read the question again. A boy's weekly expenses have increased from 1,500 to 2,250. So let's start finding the ratio of this first one. First, the original expenses are 1,500 rupees. Okay, this was what he was spending first. Now the increased expenses. Increase is the new expenses now, which is 2,250. Now, how much has his expenses increased? What is that increase in expenses? We have to find that by subtracting. Okay, so and then we have to find the ratio. So first let's find the increase in expenses by subtracting 2,250 minus 1,500. 0, 5. Now this is 1, 12 minus 5 is 7. So the increase in expenses is 750. Now we have to find the ratio of increase in expenses to the original expenses. Okay, so increase in expenses is how much? Rupees 750 is to the original expenses is rupees 1,500. Now we need to find this ratio first by writing it as a fraction. Then we have to cancel, we have to reduce it to the lowest term. Now divide both by a common factor. Can we think of 15 itself? Let's divide both by 15. So here we get 15 5s are 75 and 15 into 10 is 150. Now I can still reduce this. I can reduce 5 and 10 both by 5 this time. Both by 5. So what do I get? 5 1s are 5 and 5 2s are 10. So my fraction is 1 by 2 and my ratio will be 1 is to 2. So this is my final answer. 1 is to 2. Then we have to find the ratio of original expenses to the increased expenses. The original expense was rupees 1,500. Then his increased expenses from 1,500 it became 2,250. Now we need to find the ratio of the original expense to the increased expense. So let's write that the original expense is rupees 1,500 and the increased one is rupees 2,250. Now let's find the ratio in the simplified form. 1,500 divided by 2,250. First step, cancel the zeros. Now let's divide both by a common factor and we can divide both by 15 itself. Okay, so here we know 150 is given here. 15 into 10 is 150. Now what about 225? Shall we divide that and see? Let's divide 225 by 15. Okay, now I have 22. 15 ones are 15 minus 2 minus 5 I can't, so I borrow 12 minus 5 is 7 and I bring down 5. So my number is 75. 15 fives are 75. So I have 15 as my denominator here. Now I can reduce this further. I can divide both by 5 again. I can divide by 5. 5 2s are 10 and 5 3s are 15. So I've got my fraction. My fraction is 2 by 3 and my ratio is 2 is to 3. So my final answer is 2 is to 3. Question 3. This time you must find the ratio of the increased expenses to increase in expenses. So what are the increased expenses? How much is expenses increased to? 2,250. Then how much was the increase from the original to this one? How much was it? 750 rupees. It increased by 750 rupees. Now I need to find the ratio of the increased expenses to increase in expenses. So increased is 2,250 and increase is 750. So now let's find the ratio in the simplest form. So write it as a fraction 2,250 by 750. Now we need to reduce it to the lowest term. Let's cancel and let's divide both these numbers by a common factor, which is 15 itself. So 15 into what is 225? 15 into 15 itself. Okay, then 15 fives are 75. Now we can reduce this further by dividing both again by 5. Now 15, 5 threes are 15 and 5 ones are 5. So here I have the fraction as 3 by 1 and my ratio will be 3 is to 1. Final answer is 3 is to 1. Question 4. Reduce each of the following ratios to their lowest term. 1 hour 20 minutes is to 2 hours. Now let's convert all these into minutes. They're all different units, isn't it? So we'll convert them all to the same unit. We'll convert them to minutes. Now we know that in 1 hour we have 60 minutes, isn't it? So here 1 hour and 20 minutes is given to us. 1 hour, 20 minutes. That will be 60 minutes for this 1 hour plus this 20 minutes. So 60 plus 20 is 80 minutes. Okay, so here we have 80 minutes is to, now we know that 1 hour has 60 minutes, so 2 hours will be 60 into 2. 2 zeros are 0, 2 6 are 12. So that is 120 minutes. So this is in minutes. This is also in minutes. So now the units are the same. 80 minutes is to 120 minutes. Now let's write it as a ratio in the simplest form. First, write it as a fraction. Simplify it by cancelling the zeros. Divide both by a common factor. I can use 4. 4 2s are 8 and 4 3s are 12. So here the fraction is 2 by 3 and the ratio will be 2 is to 3, which is my final answer. 2 is to 3. Question 2. 4 weeks and 49 days. So weeks is the greater unit. Let's convert the greater unit to the smaller unit. We'll convert weeks to days. 1 week has 7 days. Therefore, 4 weeks will have 7 into 4, which is 28 days. Okay, so we can write that here. So 4 weeks is 28 days. And the second one is already in days, 49 days. So both the units are the same now. Let's convert them to ratio in the simplest term. So to make it a fraction, 28 by 49, divide both by common term. Here we can divide both by 7. Okay, now we have 7 fours are 28 and 7 sevens are 49. So our fraction is 4 by 7 and our ratio is 4 is to 7. Final answer 4 is to 7. Question 3. 3 years, 4 months, 5 years, 5 months. Shall we convert them all to months? Okay, so we know that 1 year has 12 months, isn't it? So 3 years will have 12 into 3, which is 36 months. And we have in the question plus 4 months. We need to add that plus 4 months. So that makes it 40 months. So let's write that here. 40 months is to, the next question is 5 years and 5 months. So 1 year has 12 months. 5 years will be 5 into 12. 12 fives are 60 months. Plus, let's add these 5 months. So that makes it 65 months. So here, 5 years and 5 months is written as 65 months. As you can see, both the units have now become the same. Let's start our division by writing it as a fraction. 40 by 65. Divide both by 5. We can divide both by 5. So here we get 5 eighths are 40 and 5 into 13 is 65. This is a fraction. Let me write it as a ratio 8 is to 13. So our final answer is 8 is to 13. Question 4. 2 meter 40 centimeters and 1 meter 44 centimeters. Let's convert them all to centimeters. We know that 1 meter has 100 centimeters. Therefore, 2 meters will have 200 centimeters plus, let us add up 40 centimeters from the question, 40 centimeters to make it 240 centimeters altogether. So this is 240 centimeters. Now the other part is 1 meter and 44 centimeter. 1 meter we know is 100 centimeters plus, let's add this, 44 centimeters. 100 plus 44 is 144 centimeters. So let's write that here, 144 centimeters. Now let's write it as a fraction. 240 by 144. We can simplify this by dividing both by 12. Let's divide both by 12 and see what we get. 12 twos are 24, isn't it? 12 twos are 24. So add the 0, I get 20. Here, 12 twelves are 144. Divide both by a common factor. Here I can divide both by 4. Both are divisible by 4. So what do I get? 4 fives are 20 and 4 threes are 12. 4 threes are 12. So my fraction is 5 by 3. My ratio will be 5 is to 3. So my final answer is 5 is to 3. Question 5. 5 kg 500 grams, 2 kg 750 grams. So let's convert them all to grams. So I have 5 kg and 500 grams. We know that 1 kg is 1000 grams, so 5 kgs will be 5000 grams, plus let's add this 500 grams, making it 5500 grams. So that is our first one. 5500 grams is 2. The second one is 2 kilograms 750 grams. We know that in 1 kilogram there are 1000 grams, so in 2 kilograms it will be 2000 grams, plus let's add this 750 grams. 2000 plus 750 is 2750 grams. Let's write that down, 2750 grams. Now let's write it as a fraction. 5500 by 2750. Let's cancel. Now we have 550 by 275. We can divide both by 5. Let's do it with 5. 5 11s, isn't it? And a 0. So we've got 110 here. And here, let's divide by 5. 5 5s are 25. Bring 2 here. 5 5s are 25. So I have 110 by 55. Can we divide both by 11? Let's divide both by 11. 11 10s are 110 and 11 5s are 55. We can again divide by 5. What do we get? 5 2s are 10 and 5 1s are 5. So our fraction is 2 by 1. Our ratio will be 2:1. So final answer is 2:1. So children, will stop with that for now. In our next video, we will continue with the remaining questions. Thank you, children.